Good evening. So, goodbye, and farewells are not so easy when you're emotionally and passionately attached to a company, but let me give it a try. So, when Kusulit asked me yesterday, okay, you may have to speak few words, I said, okay. Then I was thinking, what should I talk about? Indra Nooyi, the visionary CEO or chairman of PepsiCo, wrote a book in 2021. I've gone through the whole thing called My Life in Full. So she actually discussed from her childhood to her whole journey. So I'm not going to talk about my life in full. I will talk about my life in Dialog. So I joined Dialog in 1996. I was interviewed by doctor somewhere around 1996, maybe September, October. Then I got the job and I started my career on 1st November, January. But I was doing a job. I was working as an engineer and I was getting a better salary. And then, I made my mind to join a company for a lower designation where I was given assistant engineer and 2/3 of what I was getting. Why? I will tell you later. So the journey that I started from there, so I walked into office. It was, asbestos, sort of, you can't call it office actually, it's a shed. So where even we had our exchange, right? So just asbestos roof and a very, not a new building, also very old building, and walked in. And Upali was my first boss. He's such a great boss, he took me to the NOC and put me inside and say, this is all yours. And then when I look, Upal is not there. Please go. So that's my first experience. I was given the whole thing. I was wondering, there were printers, some are working, some are not working, continuously printing alarms, whole heap of papers, every terminal had printer. That's doctor's way of, collecting alarms and all that. So then I sat on that. Fortunately, I had good industrial training. Like I said, when I do something, I put a lot of effort and focus. So I got my training at telecom, which helped me during the interview because doctor was asking about all the exchanges, the tone generators, the switching matrices, everything. So because of that, I managed to, because my first job actually I wanted to be a switching engineer. So, and then after asking all the questions on that, he said, sorry, we don't have that job for you. And we have a job on the radio, but then you have to come at 2 a.m., CEO will call you at 3 a.m., and you have to climb towers, do this, do that, are you ready for it? I said, it's okay. So then I accepted the offer and came. So Pali gave me this challenge. So, and then there was a guy at the corner, again with a desktop PC, with 256 megabytes of memory, which is a luxury at that time, and it's none other than Lalit. Then only I realized, okay, he has got my job because he is the switching engineer and the radio engineer. So thanks to my industrial training, I learned a lot of Unix also. And then I managed to sort out, because most of the printers were not working, alarms were not working, so I managed to, sort out everything. So the first day was really, really happy because you felt how much you gained, because when you enter the corporate world, you don't know whether you can perform, how successful you will be. So that was sort of, it was one of the greatest days for me, because that experience, okay, I can do things here, it gave me that confidence that, we can do and we can perform well here. So then got into the bus, and because it was 155, I was at Soisapura, and 155 is the bus running between Soisapura and Matakuli. I got into the bus, and then there was my neighbor uncle. And he asked, what are you doing here? I said, uncle, I started the job today. Where are you working? MTN networks. What? MTN? What is MTN networks? So nobody knew. And then there were at that time there were few buses running on the Colombo Morotua road with, on the route number 100. Fully painted with Dialog. That's the type of branding. The whole bus is painted, it's in Dialog. So I said, uncle, have you seen those buses with Dialog board running on the Goal Road? So that's that company. So I managed to convince him what Dialog is and what Dialog does and all that. So, and then So I was fortunate to have such a great colleague. I think I should appreciate Lalit. And that relationship we started on day one. And again, it gives a lot of confidence because Dialog didn't have that much of, we can't say capex because we are hardly surviving day-to-day operation. But then two of us got together and then we managed to, we work almost every night, learn things, went through manuals, learn it ourselves, did it, took a lot of risk, loads of risk, where there was nothing to lose, just 1,000 customers, and then sometimes we don't have work, we just sit under the mango tree or the nougat tree. I was wondering till one of the customer service girls like Varuni or someone brings application, because there's no provisioning system, then you have to key in at the switch delay, that's how you create that. So we are waiting till one of these girls from the customer service bring an application to us so that we can key in data and register that customer. So sometimes you don't even get a single customer. So that was our life there. So then journey that started slowly. But one thing we never forgot was to celebrate, like TV. As a team, like even Shamila, we had that team of Pali, Shamila, myself, Lalit. So we always ensure that we work with people, starting from riggers, drivers and all that. So we used to have all the booth, we used to have this cab booth, go to Jadhanapura ground to one of the beaches in Melvat and they celebrate or have drinks and so that's something we kept us all together. So then subsequently let's say recruited Indica, then the others also. So by I think 98, 99, Dialog with Doctor's vision, Doctor became the CEO, and then there was vision set okay to be the number one operator in Sri Lanka. So by 2000 we became number one operator in Sri Lanka, and by that time I think we managed to attract the industry leaders also like Sandra, Nushad, Divankar, Jackie, all came from the industry because by that time you started building your image, getting that recognition. So 2000 we managed to be number one, and 2001 even this Ranga's batch, that time we became the most preferred employer. So I remember Morutua, at his batch almost all the first classes we managed to get, like from Ranga, Dhammika, I think still there are a few Hasita, then there were Tisara, Dhamitya, all the first classes from Morutua, University of Morutua, preferred employers Dialog, and we managed to get them all to Dialog. And the journey continues. So 2005 into the stock market again, within few minutes oversubscribed, $1 billion company. Then 2007 made the highest profit, 10 billion if I remember correct, or close to 10 billion. I remember Mr. Brailis calling me and asking, Pradeep, are you sure? Are these profits real? Can a company like that, because being a banker, it's always questioning. Do you think you can make this type of profits? I said, yes, it's real. So we have made this profit. It's unbelievable, 2007, how we came to that status and made almost 10 billion profits. Then 2008 came the Airtel entry and all this upahara, overreactions and all that. The whole industry started sliding down and going down the precipice. And then it was like we started making losses. 2007, we were the highest, almost, I think if I remember correctly, the highest corporate profitability, and then went down to around 3 billion negative on the next year itself. So now what? So it's not easy, once you go down, it's not easy to come back. So then later on one of the days, I'm a Jim Collins fan. I read almost all of his book. He has written a book called How the Mighty Fall. So how the mighty fall about all the visionary companies, So he has analyzed how do they sustain and all that. So it talks of few stages. One, it says hubris born out of success. So that's from 2000 to 2007, where we were like, oh, we are the one, we did this, So, and then followed by says, it's pursuit for more. You want to do more and more because you have been successful on this, so you want to do something more. So like that you keep on doing more and more. The third is denial of peril or danger. So that's very dangerous stage. I still remember the boardrooms. We came down even to 2 billion profits or 1 billion. So at the boardrooms, people were saying, I know still we are making profits, so we are okay. So meaning waiting till you water run over the nose. So until that, so it's all denial. No, we are still profitable, we are still keeping our heads high, but we didn't realize until we fall back and then going down the precipice. Then the fourth stage, it says, grasping for salvation. So you see, how are we going to, let's say, get out of this? So that's 2009, and where I became the CTO, and it was a huge challenge, accepting the CTO position at 2009 and grasping for salvation. So then again, I think one good thing with people here, we are never out of ideas. So we have plenty of ideas. So it's a matter of getting it, making an environment for people to come forward and express it, and then taking it out and then getting it realized. So Lalit came up with this bright idea and says, on this modernization, we were incurring huge OpEx, losing so much, and then he said, okay, there's a proposal, shall we take it to doctor? So then we took it to doctor. Doctor also bought into that idea. Next day, I think within 1 or 2 days itself, we call a board meeting. And we said, okay, there's something. So we want your approval, we want to do this. So catch is, there's a 13 billion impairment. 13, it's not easy, 13 billion impairment. So I still remember, again, the board meeting. So when I took it with Mr. Prailis, he said, Pradeep, when you're underwater, it doesn't matter whether it's 2 inches or 6 feet, you're underwater, go ahead and do it. So that's the blessings that we got from the board. They understood the situation we are in, and I said, we are with you, go ahead and do it. So then we took that call, and it really helped us to turn around. By 2010. We managed to turn around the company. Then, okay, it was again, we started our journey back after all these challenges. And 2013, I went to Dr. Yurima PR and I said, okay, I have been here 5 years now as a CTO. Can I move out? So, and it was a point blank no. He said, no, you can't. You have to wait. You have to wait some more time until we get the right person. So I feel it as a failure of me, As leaders, you should ensure that you make yourself irrelevant, You build people so that you can make yourself irrelevant. So I felt it as a failure of mine, because I'm investing a lot of time on people, I'm doing my best, but then to hear saying no, they are not ready, you still have to continue. So then no option, but I'm happy today, after 10 years, from 2013 to 2023, we have found someone the company will believe will really help us to take us to the next level. So, a lot of things, so it's all about, so when you look at this and the whole journey, and also decision making, I still remember it was 2011 or 2012, when we were to acquire this, the 2300 Spectrum. So until that time, the technology TDD hasn't worked well. So even doctor asked me, Pradeep, are you sure this is going to work? I said, yes, it will work, let's go for it. And then we managed to get that 65 megahertz of spectrum and launch the TDD network that we have today. So what I'm trying to stress is, I think as managers, leaders and all that, you always have to make decisions, ensure that we take. So unless we don't take decisions, there's no progression. So you have to, but never be afraid, because the problem is when we are professionals, when we are, have come to a certain level, we are afraid for failure. We don't want to fail. So that's why, we are afraid to make decision, nothing because of fear for failure. So when you look at the whole journey, I thought, okay, I'll explain some of the ingredients which really help, at least engineering. Then, so that's finding the right job which will fuel your passion or fuel your enthusiasm. Then setting the goals. So it's you have to set a goal and then follow through. But when you do that, when you set clear goals and timelines, plan for the worst. So imagine the worst situation that you can be in. So that's where the starting point should be. Why? Because every good thing that happens after is you're pushing your way one step ahead. So when you plan for the worst, everything happens because you know there's nothing worse that can happen because you have planned for the worst. Everything else will help you to be one step ahead. So always plan for it. And then, you know, like I said, people are with a lot of ideas and lot of things. So avoid micromanagement, give them a lot of freedom, you know. And if you have any issues, anything, thrash it openly. I think that you can't do unless you create an environment for people to be comfortable. Saying that because some people are afraid if I open and if I tell the truth, I will have to face repercussions. So that's the greatest fear in a corporate. That's the greatest fear that the staff has. What will my supervisor think? Will I ever get penalized for saying this? So that environment you have to create, and also it's always good to get some people who are very radical thinking or the devil's advocate who will come and, you know, give very different opinion. So it's up to you to create that environment so that you will create that where people will feel comfortable to, you know, express whatever they want to say. Then, and also you have to celebrate everything. You know, work is not everything. You have to get people involved. You have to, you know, take time to celebrate and also show. I think Soumya explained it clearly because I just play a very role just behind, you know, give a lot of freedom for people to do it. But then I think they also surprised when they hear the amount of information, even the internal information that I know. You know, they think that I don't know. But even, you know, from the lowest level to, you know, my level, everything that happens, I have that information. So I think it's a secret how I get to know all this. But, you know, they are always, you know, very surprised how I know all of this information. So that's for me actually 27 years. I don't feel it as 27 years. I still can remember the first day as if it was yesterday. And then I never was tired. I never was pressurized. I don't think any one of you have seen me under pressure when I was at Dialog. But I have been under pressure on my personal projects because I sometimes took huge bets much more than what I can think of. So there were instances where I was under very much pressure, but never when it comes to my work. And so I'm happy about listening to you. So I don't have words to express how I feel, but all I want to say, I feel so humble. You know? I was so fortunate to be with a team like you and being appreciated and hearing what you all have to say and being there with you, taking this journey from zero to what it is today. So finally, I want to thank first doctor for believing in me and getting me here, and also my senior management team for being with me. And I know I have stepped into your areas uninvitedly most of the time, because that's one thing I do, that one thing I can't keep quiet. Whenever I see something, even if it's not in my area, you know, I try to step in and do, which I know may be wrong, but then all is done with good faith and with just one intention to ensure that we as a team will take the right direction. I think Gayani I think she's so afraid to go with me in the vehicle because she don't know at what point I will, you know, lose my patience and, you know, put the shutter down and shout at people, you know, or you know, go cut across their vehicle and stop it and shout at them and all that. She's so afraid. Sometimes she pulled me and said, no, don't do this. You don't know whether these guys are having weapons or what they have. So just keep quiet. So I lose my patience. That's me. So, and also I think credit should go to Gayani for being such a understanding wife. So if not for her, for sure I won't be here today, because I remember the time, even when we two were going to buy her wedding sari, doctor called me and said, Pradeep, the network is down. So it was me, her, and I had the driver Nandasiri. So he said, the network is down. So I said, Nandasiri, just drop me at office. You go with Gayani, please do whatever. So now it's only, maybe she wanted me to come and see the sari, but then I never had an option. So she had no option other than going and buying the sari on her own. Then even at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., it's uninterrupted calls, 11 a.m., 2 a.m. So she's like when the phone rings, I wake up, she wakes up. And also the worst thing is sometimes I had to wake up because we were annexed, we married and then we separated, living on a separate place. So then there's no way I can leave her alone. So I wake up at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., say get up now, can't help. I'll drop you at your mother's parents and I have to go to office. So that's the level of tolerance, and that's why I said this is I think I put more time here than I put my time at. So, but thanks to the understanding of both of them. They know whenever I say, no, I have office work, I never get resistance. So even if it's an important event and all that, they always have that understanding. They know I treat job as my first priority. But then, whenever, what I have to do, I think I have done for them. But then, that understanding is quite important. If you succeed in your life and if your career, I think you have to have that understanding. Otherwise, it will be very, very difficult for you to commit yourself for something. So, though I leave Dialog, I think it's not easy for me to detach Dialog. Dialog will always live in my heart. So, I don't think I can forget Dialog ever. Something that I saw growing from zero to what it is today. And more than that, why I personally never wanted to leave this country is I always wanted to give something back to the country. That's one of the intentions we had. I had. So we had the whole family. We had all PR in Australia. They made a decision to say no, we are not going there. So all because we wanted to give something back to the country. So I feel like we have done our best. I think if you look at this industry, we can be proud of what we have done. At least this industry, if you look at rest of the world, is either in power or even ahead of some of the developers when it comes to communication. So we have to keep on believing it. Even I'm pressurizing Supun time to time saying we should push for 5G license, go for it, get it, don't delay. We have to go and do this, So because that will add a lot of value, and also that will help country to at least stay ahead, at least in terms of technology, And also it's not just a technology because it's the fourth revolution. It's a revolution that's going to happen with 5G. So there's so many things that you can do, and the country is under pressure. The whole BNL is under pressure. But having said that, I don't think we can simply forget that we can delay this decision on investment or delay this and the rolling out 5G in Sri Lanka. So again, thanks everyone. Thanks for all the support. And I think that's not my fault because it's a long weekend. So I think we had no option other than arranging this on this day. But so I'm thankful to you for doing all the sacrifices to be here today, knowing that it's a very long weekend, and being here to come and show your gratitude to me and for what I've done. So thanks again, and also I'll be reachable. Though, like I said, though I leave, I don't think I can forget Dialog. I will always be there for you. So feel free to reach to me, talk to me, call me, or whenever you need any support, feel free to get in touch. And I'm happy. I'm sure you have enough and more capability to take this company to the next level without me. And my greatest happiness would be to see you all performing much better than what Dialog is today. So that will be my greatest happiness. And even at engineering meetings, when we had some farewells, that's what I said, I want you all to take engineering to next level under Anga. So that will be the biggest justice that you all can do to me. So thank you, thanks again, and thanks for being here and all what you have done and all the appreciation, and for this big surprise also. I never knew until they came here, until she announced that Ghanaian daughter here. It was a big surprise. So they also kept that surprise. So thank you for everything. Thank you so much.